There's something mysterious going on behind this cargo container. Stick around and find out what it is. Map reviews, Killzone multiplayer map reviews. Today we take another deep dive into one multiplayer map from the Killzone franchise, and this time it's Pyrrhus Rise from Killzone 2 for the PS3. It's an industrial area within a barren, windy desert. And if I had one word to sum it up, it would be ginormous. In terms of the time it takes to walk from end to end on this map, it's probably the largest map not only in Killzone 2, but in the Killzone series altogether. And that size is the main reason it's one of the most unpopular maps in Killzone 2. How do I know it's unpopular? People have flat out told me on Discord that they hate it. And I also witnessed many players dropping from the match right when they realize it's the next map in the rotation. By the way, for those who don't know, the original multiplayer servers were shut down a long time ago, but you can now play on a private server. I'll put a link in the description on how to connect to that server. You can also play on Pyrrhus Rise in the offline bot zone. The most obvious reason for people's dislike for the map is the amount of time it takes to get from objective to objective. If you're in a match with a small number of players, it is sometimes hard to find your opponent. There's just too much movement needed to have a satisfying match. Another reason people hate it is that it's a sniper's paradise. If you're anywhere in the open, you can drop dead in an instant from a shot from clear across the map. It doesn't help that there's a giant chasm in the middle, and to cross it, you have to go across one of 4 bridges. You're pretty exposed to the snipers when you're crossing those bridges. Experienced players know to zigzag as you go across, but zigzagging also increases the time it takes to get to an objective. So again, there's just a lot of movement needed to play on this map. So yeah, there's a lot of negative things to say about it, but I personally don't hate it as much as other people. There's 4 things that this map has going for it. 1, if you have a lot of players and people are putting spawn beacons out, there can be some really awesome battles that take place. 2, it's a good change of pace. It's so different from the other maps in the game. With all that distance, you have to mix up your tactics quite a bit. I enjoy the challenge of doing that. 3, the sniper class gets to have some fun. I'm hardly ever a sniper, but when I am, it's on this map. Sniper is the most underutilized class in this game, so it's good that there's a map where you can actually use it really effectively. By the way, those of you who have played Killzone 2 a lot realize that there's no class actually called Sniper, it's called Scout instead. I've never been a big fan of calling that class Scout. Yes, they have the radar thing, but I don't think of them as scouts. They just kind of hang back and shoot people from afar, for the most part. And 4, the programmers did a good job of making it feel like you're fighting in the desert. There's howling wind, blowing sand, and huge draw distances. It looks very good for being on a PS3. In terms of lore, this battle is taking place on the planet Helgen. It's assumingly the same desert area referred to as the Wastelands in the campaign, minus the bugs.
Slimy fucking hellgas bugs. Ugh, fuck that.
I hear that. Even the wildlife on this rock is shit.
Even though an NPC referred to this area as the Wastelands, the chapter headings actually call it the Badlands, so there's a lot of names for it, but the bottom line is it's a big desert. The structures around the map appear to be abandoned pumping stations and refineries and that kind of thing, and there's also a shanty town where people live. Now let's get into some of the oddities you can encounter on this map. First of all, there are tires all over the place, and as long as they aren't partially buried in the sand, they are movable. A revolver scoots them slightly, but with the shotgun, you can send them flying. If you want to play some mind games with the enemy, shoot a tire their way. If you had enough time and patience, you could theoretically build a pile of these tires and, I don't know, just block a doorway or something. Of course, one errant shot and the whole pile goes up into the air. You can also send the tires off the map, and if they go far enough, they completely disappear. Sometimes these tires freeze in midair. I've seen it on other maps before too. And when they're frozen, they look like they're in a lower resolution. There's a few other cool things to interact with. There's pallets laying around that you can demolish piece by piece, and there's tables that you can do that too as well. There's also bottles laying around, and if you hit them, they make a shattering noise, but they keep making the same shattering noise every time you hit them, which is kind of amusing. The strangest thing is behind this cargo container. It's inside the Helghast base camp. Right after you spawn, run over to the left and go up to these fuel tanks, and you'll see a floating box. I guess that's what they mean by Pyrrhus Rise. It's possible that this piece is holding it up, but I don't think so. When I move back and forth, it looks like that piece is separate from the box. So yeah, there's not much else to say about Pyrrhus Rise. If you have played on it, let me know what you think of it. In the meantime, check out some of my other map reviews and map comparison videos. Long live Killzone.